How dare you reblog my posts but not follow me? If you find a gold bar in a trash bag, will you take the whole trash can or just the gold bar? The F? Cold AF. Writes down time of death. Welcome to rSlash Murderebywords, where people die for our entertainment. I think this lace in this color is like seaweed that has come out of the swamp. Thank you. That's not a compliment. I didn't take it as a compliment. He just dumped on your whole life. I don't get it. He's thanking her for her criticism because that's the polite thing to do when being judged for something you're pursuing a career in. She showed her complete and total lack of class and tact by misinterpreting his thanks as an acceptance of a compliment. It put her in her place in a very discreet yet sick way. Basically, he revealed that she is trash in a very polite way. And more importantly, there's no seaweed in swamps, you dumb bitch. Should have never been born, to be honest. In my humble opinion, knowingly bringing an R word into the world is an incredibly selfish and inhumane act. So, what are you going to do? Call the cops on your parents? Germans of Reddit who speak English, how is the Holocaust and the rule of Adolf Hitler taught in your schools? Extensively. I don't understand why this question is so prevalent. Unlike the United States, we don't cover up and shy away from the darker parts of our history. Notification from Reddit. Recommended community for you. Blank, we thought you might like the rSlash am I ugly community. Did you know, in Finland, speeding tickets are calculated based on your income, causing some Finnish millionaires to pay fines of over $100,000. This is what equality looks like in that liberal fairy tale of Finland. They punish you proportionally to how successful you are. Sounds really fair. Except, it is fair because it's proportionate. I don't get what's difficult about that. An impoverished person paying a $400 fine isn't the same as a millionaire paying the same amount. For the poor person, $400 could mean starving. Would you really claim it would have the same consequence for a rich man? Would it even be noticeable to him? Do women like being sexually harassed? Men in new survey say yes. Do humans like being eaten alive? Sharks in new survey say yes. Do YouTubers like having their videos liked? YouTubers in new survey say yes. When your daughter calls and she's been crying. Like if she scraped her knee? According to your last post, she's 10. Are you going to shoot her bicycle? I think a band-aid would be more useful. Yeah, I know, but how else can I show people on the internet how badass I am unless I make stupid posts like this? I challenge any game maker to come up with a game that rewards kids to be empathetic to situations involving other players and game characters, and rewards them for kind gestures and behaviors, and also positively reinforces kindness, politeness, and constructive problem solving. Journey, Undertale, Stardew Valley, the entire Fallout series, Minecraft, Animal Crossing, Harvest Moon, the vast majority of role-playing games made by BioWare. Would you like recommendations? I can keep going, Penny. We can find one to suit your tastes, I'm sure. My favorite thing about this post is that OP looks exactly the way you would expect her to look. Did my landlord just try to use the Bible to raise my rent? LMAO. Attention all tenants. Effective October 1st, 2019. Rent will increase 10% on all units according to numbers 1821. The good news is I work for a real estate startup and know the law, and my landlord and I have a pretty chill relationship until this LMFAO. So I just texted him this. Hey Brucey baby, it's illegal for you to raise my rent during an active lease term. Also, federal law, the Fair Housing Act, protects you from making any decisions about my housing based on religion. If, when my lease is up, you want to increase the rent, New York law says you have to give me 30 days notice if it's more than 5%. Also, 1 Corinthians 6:9-10 says, do not be deceived. Neither the thieves, nor the greedy, nor swindlers will inherit the kingdom of God. And if you're wondering where in the Bible Jesus says, hey, everyone, pay an extra 10% on your rent, he doesn't. I looked up the verse that the landlord quoted, and this is it. To the Levites, I have given every tithe in Israel for an inheritance in return for the service that they do, their service in the tent of meeting. What does that have to do with rent? Tweeted by the Sandy Hook Promise. Survive the school year with these must-have back-to-school essentials. This PSA contains graphic content related to school shootings and may be upsetting to some viewers. If you feel this subject matter may be difficult for you, you may choose not to watch. You're making it seem like every kid who goes to school is going to get killed. This is not the case. What percentage are you cool with? There's a young black guy sitting next to me on this flight. His phone rang and it said baby doll. I dare him to try to holla and say he's single. How can someone be minding his business? You invade his privacy and assume he wants to talk to you. Then make up a scenario in your head and be offended in advance. Is everything alright with you, dear? Somehow, it seems fitting that her Twitter handle is a pretty big deal. On this next one, a teacher gave his class a learning assessment and got absolutely roasted. So far, what is the single most impactful lesson that you will remember from this class? Answer: I'll let you know when we get to the first lesson. Fellas, it's 2019. If she's trying to take things slow and make you wait for passionate hugging while you pay for her meals, get rid of her immediately. If she ain't sucking dick on the first date, kick her to the curb. Stop wasting time on these women. Your daughter's gonna be sucking dick for dinner then? Darius blocked you. Worth mentioning that Darius's Twitter header is a picture of his 2 daughters. Posted on the Facebook group, Stop Mandatory Vaccination. Y'all, I literally had a 14-year-old walk up to my desk today and ask me what the bottle was on my desk. So I responded that it was an essential oil. He looks me right dead in the eye and said, "Oh no, don't tell me that you're Karen and that you don't vaccinate your kids." I don't think I've ever been so shook and pissed at the same time. Anyway, thought it was worth the share. Not being provocative, but if you think Greta Thunberg has the maturity to guide global policymaking, then you can't object to Jeffrey Epstein paying 16-year-olds for passionate hugging. Children, the planet is dying. Please do something. Conservatives, well, if you're so smart, why can't I passionately hug with you? Checkmate. You've gained a new follower. The FBI. No, you're not a gamer. I'm so sick of all these people who think they're gamers. No, you're not. Most of you aren't even close to being gamers. I see these people saying, I put well over 100 hours in this game. It's great. That's nothing. Most of us can easily put 300 plus hours in all of our games. I see people who only have the Nintendo Switch and claim to be gamers. Come talk to me when you pick up a PS4 controller, then we can be friends. Also, dear all women, Pokemon is not a real game. Animal Crossing is not a real game. The Sims is not a real game. Mario is not a real game. Stardew Valley is not a real game. Mobile games are not real games. Put down the baby games and play something that requires challenge and skill for once. Sincerely, all the actual gamers. Ahem. Son, I was playing Pong in arcade when your mama was getting her cherry busted. I dialed into CompuServe on a rotary dial phone and an acoustic coupler modem. Google it. I was playing TSR Goldbox games on a Packard Bell 286 with a 20 megabyte hard drive and a whopping 1 megabyte of RAM, while you were still messing your diapers. I've watched console companies rise and fall. You probably don't have a frickin' clue what ColecoVision even means. Don't even think that comparing game hours is a measure of actual gaming, you moron. If that were the case, you'd be a rank amateur while I'm a god. Don't you dare console shame anyone. From the Atari 2600 to the Nintendo Switch, I've played them all, including stuff you've never even heard of. Every console has its merits, and every gamer is entitled to their favorites. The PS4 is not the crown prince of consoles, so get over it. And F you for game shaming any game. I'm 52 years old. I've been playing Pokemon since it released in the US in '98. I was one of Nintendo's of America's first North American reps for the franchise. It is most certainly a real game. If it weren't, it wouldn't still be around. Animal Crossing is most certainly a real game. Not my particular preference, but not all games are meant for me. Just like not all games are meant for you. That has no relevance on their realness. Every game is a real game, genius. Just because you happen to suck at Candy Crush doesn't make it less enjoyable to someone else. You are not an actual gamer. What you are is a misogynistic cum stain who thinks because you might be hot stuff on Overwatch or Fortnite that you set the standard. Well, guess what? You don't. And I'm pretty sure a female friend of mine would just love to diva your dick into the dirt. Actual gamers are part of a larger community. We congratulate each other on our victories. We commiserate over our losses. We praise the games we love, rag on the games we don't, but never dismiss a game out of hand, even if it's not our particular style. And we sure as heck don't dismiss our fellow gamers. Any of them. Learn some respect. Oh well, I'm pretty sure OP also imagined Diva slamming his dick into the dirt, but probably in a slightly different way. Robert E. Lee was not a white supremacist. He was a devout Christian, #1 in class at West Point superintendent. His father signed the Declaration of Independence, married relative of George Washington, so he was. And he owned non-white people, and had them beaten, and went to war against America to preserve the practice of owning non-white people. And he ordered surrendering black soldiers to be shot. But I get that you like the car from Dukes of Hazzard. In a just society, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez would still be a bartender. From Barry Shapiro, MD. I was a bartender before I went to medical school. It was a time that I look back on fondly. I learned many important life skills, including empathy, teamwork, and effective time management. Nobody should judge another's journey. It makes you look petty. Really. Man, that insult doesn't even make sense. Regardless of whether or not you love or hate AOC, why would it be just for a bartender to have to be a bartender for the rest of their life? I was wondering if Spider-Man's spider sense is based on an actual thing spiders can do, so I googled, can spiders sense danger? And the National Wildlife Federation treated me like the moron I am. Spider sense. Spider-Man is able to sense danger lurking near, the warning signal coming as a pain in his head that varies with the intensity of the threat. Spiders can detect danger coming their way with an early warning system called eyes. Tide Pods and vaccines share 15 of the same ingredients. And we share like 80% DNA with banana peels. What's your effing point? The funny thing is that her little fact wasn't even accurate. There are 27 ingredients in Tide Pods, and only one of them is also in vaccines. It's water. They both have water. Millennials want jobs and education, not marriage and kids. Alternate headline, y'all screwed up the economy so badly that we can't focus on marriage and kids because we're struggling to afford to live. In any event, why is that even a bad thing? Shouldn't you have a job before you have kids? E.W. Jackson warns that if Pete Buttigieg becomes president, he'll seek to turn America into a homocracy. Right, because that's how it works. If you elect a gay person, literally everybody becomes gay. Just gay, right there. Men, women, children, babies, pets, trees. Everybody just gay, 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 all day. The whole nation, gay. Weird that it doesn't work the other way, though. If I am elected president, my first act will be to make all the trees gay. While the absence of food in their stomach would be glaring to a poorer man. Would it be fair for a man to starve for the same crime as a man that would be having a 3-course meal? By taking income into account, it allows the impoverished able to still survive while paying the fines they may incur. And ultimately, while $100,000 would be noticeable to a millionaire, they would still get by. And assuming the law is properly implemented, they would be paying the same equivalent of their yearly income that a poorer person would. That's what makes it fair. They would be impacted the same way. But you're looking at the amount rather than the equation. Also, it's important to make sure that even the rich would pause at the cost of a fine. They need to fear the law just as a poor man does. Oh no, rich people facing fines that might actually make them consider not doing illegal things because the punishments might actually hurt them. How unfair. That was r/slash murdered by words, and if you like my content, hit that subscribe button because I put out new YouTube videos every single day.